Welcome to the Love Them Knives channel. Yeah, Factor Equipment. That's what we're going to talk about today, is the Iconic. That's the name of this knife by Factor Equipment. Although, of course, Factor Equipment's, it's from what I've been able to gather by being through their website and everything, they pull different products together from different kinds of things like flashlights, knives, other kinds of stuff that they find to be well done and a good value. So you might want to read their little mission statement on their website and see what their focus is. But, you know, people have talked a little bit about this Factor Iconic knife. They think it looks a little bit like the Giant Mouse, which is a Vogness design. And I can't remember who made that, if Fox Knives in Italy made it. But, and I did a review. I'll put the link to my review on the Giant Mouse 2, the GM2, in the description section. You can look at that knife and compare it to this knife and see what you think as well. That knife was an M390 steel with carbon fiber and titanium frame, and this is S35VN. So this is not M390. In looking at, off the top of my head, what I remember is that there's some differences between these two. But I mean, kind of the general, the first time you kind of just look at it, just in a sweeping view, it has a lot of design cue similarities to the GM2. So, yeah, I think they may have got a little guff over that. But in any case, here's this knife. It's not the GM2. It's not the Vogness design, but it's somewhat similar, I guess. Stamped clip, titanium frame, carbon fiber front scale, and it's got, if you can see in the light here, you can see the F for Factor Equipment that's milled into that scale, which, I'm not sure I'm digging that. But you know what I'm saying? Do you really need to mill your logo right into the scale, and make it like half of the scale there, or a third of it? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I got mixed emotions about that one. But I don't have mixed emotions about the knife. The knife is smooth. Really nice bearings. Really stiff detent. That's some good stiff detent. I don't know if it's good that it's that stiff, but some people like it that stiff. So it's a 7.5. It's good. And this ain't gonna shake out, buddy. I ain't even gonna try. Snappy. It's a snappy deployment. It's not swinging gate type blade deployment. It's snappy. Got a little cutout in the handle. I don't know why. I don't think I could do this. Okay, I guess I can, but that detent's pretty stiff, so you really gotta hook it. Oh man, nah, not that time. So, you can deploy it, I guess, that way. It's not as much fun to do because the detent is so stiff. So really, this is kind of the thing for me. But it's pretty smooth. Now you got these contoured scales here. You can see how that works. So one thing you got when you got these contoured scales, they're thin at the edges here. Thinner than they would be in the middle. So when they are like that, it's a little bit more of a push like that on your thumb when you get to that lock bar. It's thinner, so it's a little bit more pointy, and it makes a mark in your thumb when you do that. It's not as comfortable as a knife that is so fat, like this Kaiser Müllner, that this is comfortable. This is real easy to do. It's so fat and rounded. But this one is fairly thin and kind of edgy. So if we want to go down the good, the bad, and the ugly trail, yeah, I guess that's probably the not so good, not so refined. But you know, I found that to be true on the GM2 as well. But this one, over time, this lock bar has kind of relented a little bit and seems to be a little easier to disengage. Now let's check the back spacer out. Titanium. Brother, we got some screws going in through there. We got that one mounted up, don't we? 3 different screws. Both sides. Haven't taken this one apart, so I don't know if you got like a threads in the spacer and these just screw in from both sides, or if you've got a spacer, you know, a little round spacer through these holes, and then that's threaded and these both come in from both sides. I don't know. So I don't know how that works. Haven't taken it apart. It's mine, so I could. You know, it's not like this is a loaner from somebody. It's centered up okay. Presentation side's nice, and the actual carbon fiber work is good. You know, I'm not seeing any real problems here. The pivot is nice. It's not overly decorative, but it's sufficient. And it's accessible with your Torx. Backside, like a bead blast titanium finish. And of course you got that F, not only in the front, but on the back and on the pocket clip. And kind of a long, narrow clip with 2 screws here. And it's kind of inset into the frame here. But it goes up, swoops down, no hot spot here. Kind of a funky, strange, you know, how it goes really thin here, and then it widens out. Yeah, I don't know. Probably not my favorite looking pocket clip in that regard. But you know, overall, it's got good flow to it, doesn't it? The lines here, all the way around. Real good flow. You don't see the back of the blade, you know, back up here to where there's this big gap or crappy thing like that. Hold on, let me see, like, you know, where it cuts off. It's like, what? Where's the rest of you? You know, here it's continual, so good flow of the lines. Fairly slender here. Let me see if I can get a little thing on here. Let's get to the fat part. Like 12 millimeters. So 0.4, almost 0.48. Not quite at full half inch as far as thickness there. Good size knife, not tiny. Let's see what our blade stock looks like. 0.129, 0.13 of an inch, so a little over 3 millimeters, 3.25, 3.25 for millimeters. And length. Almost 3.5 really. 8 inches overall, just a tad over 8. So about almost 28.5 centimeters. And then, of course, 3.5 inches would be like 90 millimeters. Now, I didn't know much about Factor Equipment. I had seen Walking Reviews on YouTube do his thing on Factor Equipment. And then I'll go, what is this Factor Equipment? Gordon Sargent up in Minnesota is a viewer on the channel, and he emails me back and forth here and there and gets knives, and we talk. It was his recommendation. He says, check Factor Equipment out, okay? Factor Equipment has got a sale on the Iconic, and 99 bucks. It said, you know, 200, so it was marked down to $99.95. So it's a special price. It's being discontinued. And, there was some ratings on there, 4 customer ratings, and they loved it. Take a look. CPMS, pause and read, whatever. But, it doesn't print very well off of their site. Their site doesn't look quite this scarce. In any case, that was cool. And so I went on Factory Equipment. I looked and, they had the Verve as well, which we will be talking about down the road. This is a titanium framelock flipper. And this was on sale too. And so I signed up on their site and they gave me a 20% or 25% off on your first purchase. So I got both knives, here for with that 20 or 25% off. So this one was like 138, this one was 99. So put them together, it was like 238, whatever. And then with my 20% off, I believe it was 20% off, it was like 192 or something. I can't remember what the total was, but less than $200 for both knives combined. And this one here, right here, yeah, this is a bad dog right here. This is really a pretty knife. Factory Equipment Verve. And this is a decent sized knife as well. First production run. So S35VN, pretty knife, and got them both. Why not? If you're going to get that kind of a discount, you might as well load it up. Load it up, be broke, cry about it, but at least you got 2 knives. Let's compare it to the Benchmade full-size grip. There you go. Just about the exact same size. So that, where are you, Hollywood? Here you go. So, yeah, you're right there. Flip it around for aspect ratio purposes. Pretty much the same. Pretty much the same size. As far as, classification is large, medium, small. This is just about right in my EDC range. Right in about the 8-inch, 3.5. For a lot of people, that's it. I like about 3.25 and 4. I like that, but I mean, this is also right in the range of knives that I like to carry. It's well done. It's stonewash blade. Titanium's like a real nice bead blast look. Smooth action. No, I haven't disassembled the knife to take a look at the bearings and the whole breakout. I'm not sure that I need to, or that I really have a specific desire to do that. Looks pretty accessible though. Should be easy to open up. There's the box that it came in from Factory Equipment. So, iconic carbon fiber. There you go. And it gives the specs right here on the box. Modified drop point. It doesn't feel too heavy. It feels fairly light. Of course, you got carbon fiber there. So let's take a little weigh in. Wow. Okay. 3.8. That's the same weight as my Spyderco Para. So that's pretty similar. 107 grams. Not bad. Fairly light then. It's under 4 ounces. But it's a pretty decent sized knife. Especially for titanium. I'm going to look in here and see. I don't see that they've skeletonized anything out there. But, you got carbon fiber, so you really don't. And these scales are contoured. So, yeah. They're thickest in the middle, but they thin out at the edges, so you don't have an overly large amount of material there. Good feeling, good handling. How's it feel grip-wise? That's comfortable. You got a forward choil, which is really nice that they think about that for people who sharpen their knives and or may want to go forward for a little bit more tip control, right? Tip control. Speaking of tip control, yeah, seems like it's fairly sharp. What have we done here? All the way. Yeah. Uh-oh, we ran into our other cut. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. It's pretty sharp. Yeah, it feels pretty sharp on the edge. So, yeah, it comes pretty sharp from Factor Equipment. Who makes their knives? Don't know. You tell me. Comment section. Your research project. Because I don't know who makes this one. And I'm not sure that they have the same company making both of these knives. I don't think that's happening. I think somebody told me that they felt very certain in their own mind that maybe Best Tech made this one. If so, hey, that's not bad. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, especially when that was 138 minus 20% or 25%, whatever it was. Whew. Yeah, that's a good looking knife. Yeah. It's comfortable. You know, you got your front finger choil here, a little bit of palm swell, tapering off. Reverse grip is comfortable. Yeah, it is. That's good. So, all the way, want to go up here. That's not a problem. Feels good in the hand. It's not real fat, but it's in there. In that range. Nice and light, especially for the size at 3.8. That's pretty light. Pass through, pretty easy to get to there. Just that lock bar is it's kind of a little pointy because it's thin. So it's a little edgy, I guess, not pointy, edgy. So it's like you're putting pressure on a very thin contact surface there. So in that regard, it's not as comfortable, but it's, that's kind of a niggle. It's not really that big of a deal. Big old long slit of a lanyard hole, so that's not a problem. Well put together. Fit and finish looks good. The flow of the design is good. Overall, pretty nice. No specific jimping here on the flipper tab, but it's comfortable. It's easy to make contact with it. Functions really well. So probably not a whole lot of a need to put the jimping on there. And this being a little bit more of a sophisticated look, you don't know how you want to, rough it up with jimping here and there. It's not really a work knife or a beat around knife. It's more of a little bit more of a proud carry, showy type design. Centered up, no lock rock, no blade play. Didn't have any problems with the pivot, backing off or anything. So far, so good. All right, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. It's a puzzlement. Don't know who makes their knives. I know one thing. The two knives that I've bought from them so far, pretty good quality. Thank you, Gordon, for your referral and for telling me about Factor Equipment. And not so much about that, but turning me on to the fact that there was a sale at the time that was going on. They were closing them out. And, extra discounts on top of that just really made it super affordable. He gets a gold star. Gordon, gold star. Thank you very much. Take care. Follow me on Instagram. There's a lot of things going on Instagram. A lot of things go up on my Instagram channel before they ever get on my YouTube review channel. So you know what you need to do. Yeah, you need to keep up with what's going on. It's a whole world out there on Instagram. You know what we do here. We love them knives, so stay sharp.